Hello everyone, welcome to the show. My name's Eric Deyo, and today I'd like to talk to you about campaign finance reform, why it's so important to change the involvement of money in politics, political campaigns in particular. With this year's election cycle taking place, it's no secret that both candidates are raising a staggering amount of money in an ongoing effort to out-campaign one another. We see it everywhere in the news. Here's how much Romney and his super PAC raised and spent. Here's how much Obama and his super PAC raised and spent. But here's the thing. These fundraisers are breaking records every day. And that's not helping you and I. In fact, it's destroying the professionalism and dignity of our political system as we know it. Because let's break down what's actually happening here. The majority of these political contributions come from corporations and lobbyists who are paid for by corporations. Our politicians rely on that money because, let's face it, money buys votes. It buys the mailers that have been filling up your mailbox recently. It pays for the television ads that run during every commercial break of your favorite TV shows. It buys billboards and poll-tested talking points, you name it. And since people work for those who pay them, our politicians are essentially bought and paid for by these lobbyists and corporations. These corporations and lobbyists aren't spending all this money because they have our best interests at heart, but because they consider it money well spent, as an investment. They expect a return on that investment, and they spend all that money to make more money for themselves. Now, you could argue that public financing of elections would cost taxpayers the bill of the candidates' campaigns, and you'd have a point. But let me ask you, how much does it cost the taxpayer when these politicians have to turn around and return favors to their campaign contributors? More and then some. Wouldn't you rather spend a few million for a clean campaign than to spend billions of taxpayer dollars for politicians who have to turn around and return favors to their donors? Nobody wants their politicians bought, yet it happens all the time, and it's a giant issue, and still yet gets very little attention.
This is the most serious question of all. Honey Boo Boo or Snooki?
We're all sick of it. It undermines every aspect of our representative government when those who are supposed to represent us, they don't represent us at all. They represent those who gave them all the campaign contributions. Consider then the amount of time these politicians have to spend while in office raising funds for their campaign. Since money is so essential to their election and their re-election, they spend vast amounts of their time in office just raising funds. Why? Many reasons, but the most important would probably be out of fear of some giant super PAC coming into their district and spending an easy few million to defeat them. And it's a genuine concern. Now, a few million might not sound very much on a national level, but on a congressional level it can be extremely decisive. So the time these members of Congress spend while they're in office raising funds for their campaign? Some studies show that before Citizens United, congressmen and women were spending, wait for it, half of their time while in office, including both in Washington and back in district, raising funds for their campaign. Think of all the other things they could be doing with their time, like, I don't know, their job perhaps? Now, thanks to Citizens United, which basically deregulates campaign finance altogether, we could safely assume that these politicians are spending well over half their time while in office just raising money. How then do we expect them to do the job they were elected to do, like creating public policy solutions to address some of the nation's largest issues? They can't. And it'd be foolish to think that our politicians can both remain competitive in campaign finance and create public policy. And it's sad, because for the most part, our elected officials are people of character who got into public service with good intentions. But little did they know that they'd be spending over half of their time while in office begging their neighbors and special interest groups for spare change.